Let's talk about how to handle thoughts that keep you awake at night. This is a common thing I hear about, that my mind is just so active, it has a mind of its own. I just want to turn it off to fall asleep. Now obviously we don't have that kind of power. We can't just flip a switch and turn off our minds, although we might try to do that sometimes with substances like alcohol. But those aren't good long-term solutions. They tend to hurt our sleep more than help, especially in the long run. So we'll start with things we can do before bed. So if there are thoughts that are likely to keep you up, you can write those down, get them out of your head onto paper where you know that you can deal with them later. But often just the act of writing things down can help to kind of offload those thoughts so we don't have to continue to mull over them when we're trying to go to sleep. It can also help just to do a general winding down routine, letting go of stress, calming the body, soothing the nervous system. Maybe this involves some meditation or relaxation exercises. As the mind and body calm, then the thoughts that we have are less likely to disturb us. Now it often happens that even if we can fall asleep all right, we wake up in the middle of the night and boom, those thoughts are right there, and then we're going over them and having a hard time falling asleep. One thing we can do is question some of the thoughts. This is more of a cognitive behavioral approach. So if we're having, let's say, catastrophic thoughts, like, oh, that presentation tomorrow is going to go terrible, or oh, my child is going to get sick or is going to have problems in school, then asking if those thoughts are actually realistic. Our minds tend to find worst case scenarios, and that tendency is really amplified in the wee hours of the morning. It's really hard to kind of think clearly and calmly and rationally when we're awake in the middle of the night. So we can question some of those thoughts. Now, a complementary approach is just to observe them. So to give them less importance, to treat them as things that are happening, kind of having these events going on in my head, and maybe they don't actually signify anything. Maybe I don't have to give them a lot of importance or get stuck on them. I can just kind of let them pass. And this is more of a mindfulness approach. Just, we call it decentering from those thoughts, allowing them to be part of our experience, and they're not necessarily defining us or dictating how we have to respond to them. All right, that's a thought I'm having. Maybe it's a distressing thought. It may or may not be true, but we can just observe it. That's another technique. One exercise that I like, I actually offer this as part of my CBT deck, which I'll link to below, is allowing good things in our lives to fill our mind. We can even do this preemptively when we wake up in the middle of the night. Before those worries rush in, we can just list to ourselves, and I like to do this with each breath, one good thing. So I inhale, I exhale, I have a bed. Inhale, exhale, I live in a peaceful neighborhood. My kids are safe. So this is not a way to force ourselves to go to sleep, but it's letting our minds be filled with the good things that are a part of our lives just as much or even more so than the things that bother us. And really letting those things be our focus. I did want to mention this idea of meta thoughts. So these are thoughts, or how we think about thinking. So I don't want us to imagine that it's sort of up to us to think in the right way in order to sleep well. Because that just sets us up for really being in a losing battle with our thoughts. Because again, our minds, they think, they produce thoughts, they offer us things to worry about. That's what they do. And if we try to force those things to stop, then that thinking mind just tends to turn up the volume. So allow thoughts to be there. We don't have to fight them. And this is all a part of letting go of effort. That we don't have to be in the driver's seat when we're sleeping, even in the driver's seat of our thoughts. We can allow things to unfold as they do, releasing, letting go, allowing sleep to come when it does. Now, a final word here about sleep habits. So these are overall practices that lead to good sleep, like keeping our bedroom quiet, cool, and dark, having a consistent sleep schedule, avoiding bright light in the evening, getting bright light in the morning. All those overall habits that contribute to good sleep can also help with our thoughts. And that's because we often think that we're awake because our minds are active. But often what happens is our minds are active because we're awake. And if we were sleeping soundly, our minds wouldn't be waking us up. But it's more that once we're awake, then the gears of our mind start turning. So if we're doing things that support overall good, sound sleep, then we're less likely to be awake and have to deal with the types of thoughts that can bother us in the middle of the night. So let me know how this goes for you. Thank you for watching.